Hello my fellow chef knives enthusiasts. In this video I'm showing you my Hatsukokoro Yorokobi 270mm Gyuto made out of SLD steel. I bought it from Home Butcher and the owner Phil offered this one to me for a very spicy price.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
So many thanks to Phil for that.
Damn good deal.
Hatsukokoro is based in Amagasaki in Hyogo Prefecture. This particular knife is branded as Hatsukokoro. The Hatsukokoro brand is their house brand. And Hatsukokoro means innocent spirit.
Innocent spirit in my pants.
By working with Japanese artisans who mastered their craft, from blacksmiths to knife sharpeners and handle makers, each aspect of the knife is carefully curated. Techniques range from hand forging to modern roll forging with a broad spectrum of steels, both raw reactive carbon steels and high-tech stainless steels. The maker and material are hand-selected to perfectly suit the intended line of knives, be it an affordable knife for home cooks or high-performance masterpieces for collectors. The Hatsukokoro series exists out of a wide range of knives. This Gyuto is from the Yorokobi line of knives. Yorokobi means pleasure, joy, or delight.
Pleasure, joy, delight. What? If you could lick your own balls, you would never leave the house.
So let's have a look at it and see if it brings me pleasure, joy, and delight. Do you like the handle grabber? The handle of this knife is made of ebony wood, has a nickel spacer and a black buffalo ferrule. Its traditional octagonal shape, slightly higher than narrow, which always feels comfortable in the hand for me. But enough about the handle. Let's take a look at the blades. Wow, wee, wow. That is quite stunning actually. This Yorokobi series of knife have a SLD steel core, which was heat treated to a 6263 is HRC, so quite hard. SLD semi-stainless steel has outstanding wear resistance. It is also quite easy to sharpen and has more than decent edge retention. It has a stainless cladding, which obviously has copper folded into it, which creates a quite stunningly looking Damascus pattern. I like how the pattern looks a bit like a panoramic view of a mountain range. On every Yorokobi blade, this pattern will turn out slightly or totally different, making them all a little bit unique, and that copper is going to tarnish and change the way it looks over time. Right now it's pretty reddish or, well, copper color, but it will probably change into more of a dark brownish or grayish color eventually. I'm really looking forward to see this copper Damascus pattern change in color. Hatsukokoro is not disclosing the maker of these knives. The Yorokobi knives are crafted in Sanjo, Niigata, Japan, by the same undisclosed blacksmith as the Hatsukokoro Komorebi line. Perhaps due to contracts, the blacksmith has to remain a mystery. All I know is that Naoto from Knifeware stated that these Yorokobi blades are made by two young blacksmiths from Japan who have learned their skills from a bunch of famous legendary blacksmiths from Japan, and that they tried out a lot of different ways to forge this knife, and the first prototype of this Yorokobi was made around November 2022, and that they have perfected it in the past few months. Hence the Yorokobi line is now available since a month or two. So yeah, there's nothing more I can say about the maker of this blade. I suggest I'll just take it into my kitchen and see what this knife is all about on the cutting board. The Hatsukokoro Yorokobi 270mm Gyuto made of SLD steel. I love the flat spot on this beast, but it has a curve to the tip as well. A very versatile edge. Let's give this baby a spin on the cutting board.
Yep, the tip is nice and thin, very easy to precisely score.
I don't know if you noticed it, but this blade sings. I'd say this knife has a slightly musical quality to it. It makes this ringing sound when it hits the cutting board. It kind of resonates in like a bell tone to me, or a tuning fork. And I'm not sure why it does this. Maybe it has to do with the construction of the blade, or the length of it, or the heat treatment of the steel, or the type of steel itself. Although the Kairu knife from JNS is also made of SLD steel, and that one doesn't sing like this blade. I think I remember reading somewhere that a knife heat treated correctly would sing, but this is my first singing blade, and I can't imagine that all my other knives are badly heat treated. Now I think about it, looking at my guitar, I remember from my time of playing classical guitar that a guitar neck with various pieces of woods would make a guitar sound completely different. Perhaps it was the way the handle was attached to the blade, and perhaps the type of wood could play a role in this.
As long as I play a role in your videos, all is good.
What do I think of this blade besides its impressive resonance? The balance point is right at the pinch grip. It's a little bit on the thicker side, although it's quite thin at the edge, but it becomes thicker quite quickly above the edge. Especially at the heel, it has a nice and beefy grind. It has a nice distal taper on the spine, starting quite thick at the neck and then tapering very nicely towards the pretty thin tip. So it has a precise tip, a robust belly and a beefy heel. So the blade geometry and the grind on this blade is a bit of workhorsey. It is not like really a workhorse, but it's definitely leaning into that direction. All in all, I was pretty happy with the cutting feel on this knife. It did go through all the produce quite effortlessly, and I'd say the performance of this knife is definitely more than acceptable. But it's not making me lose my mind, you know, it's not giving me this wow feeling. The fit and finish on this blade is pretty much flawless, nothing I can fault. I know some of you don't, but I personally like that little machi gap at the tang. What I prefer is hand chiseled kanji, and it's laser engraved or embossed kanji. It's nice and deep and there to stay. Even if I would thin this knife, probably would still be there. It's that deep. I just prefer the hand chiseled kanji on the blade. The black color does make it pop off the blade, which in my opinion distracts a little bit from the beautiful copper pattern. The kanji also screams for attention. The copper pattern on the blade is very distinct. I'm not sure if I love it, but I'm liking it at least. It is pretty gorgeous, and it's definitely not something you see every day. There are more beautiful Damascus patterns out there in my humble opinion, but again, I've never seen something like this before. So much kudos for that.
And much kudos to the smell of your number 2.
The length of this blade is something that I'm looking for in my kitchen quite often, and therefore I'm personally not intimidated by it. But I can imagine that a 270mm blade, although it's 260mm in reality, it is still quite a large blade. If you're not confident with a 260mm blade in your hands, of course you should go for a 240mm or a 210mm Gyuto, which are both available sizes for this particular blade. But mind you, these blades come a little bit shorter than stated in the specs. Don't ask me why. I have a Nigara Ammon 270mm Kiritsuke, which in reality is 255mm. And I have a Masamoto KS 240mm that came in 10mm longer. I guess some brands and makers are just measuring their blades differently. I guess that is it, folks. I can't think of anything more to say about this blade, except that I want to thank Phil from Home Butcher again for the spicy deal that he gave me on this blade. And as always, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, folks.